Yeah.
Yes.
So let us populate it for a while, and we're gonna have people here in a while coming in. Hello, everyone on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and wherever. My name is Sam Basla. As you know, I'm here once again and trying to have this feature as regularly as possible. Today, we're going to talk about in a series of discussions about investment capital and between India and Gulf. Today, we will be talking about real estate, property, and investment in real estate and property. We are going to talk about Gulf and inside Gulf, UAE, Dubai, these markets. I have somebody with me who is an expert with over a decade of experience in the UAE real estate market, property market, and also in the European property market. Over 500 plus clients and a lot of money, a lot of business that he's done, closed deals, understands the market inside out. So we're going to have questions during the conversation. If you do not ask any questions or you miss this one, this is going to be available on our all platforms. So you can leave the questions in the comments and we will make sure that those questions are answered. But it is better to have a conversation. It is better to have fun together. So I'm just gonna introduce Carlos here. Okay, how do we do that? Yeah, I seem to be very bad with technology. You're on the screen now. Carlos, welcome, my friend. It's been a pleasure. We've been talking for a very long time, and I'm good. I'm happy that we are doing this conversation today.
Thank you, Sam.
So why don't we just start introduction of yours? Just tell us quickly about your background, where you're from, what you've been doing for the audience. They understand too.
So I'm born and raised in Sweden. My parents they fled the Middle East during the 90s to Europe to find a safe place. And yeah, I started my real estate journey around 2012. In Sweden, they require real estate advisors to have a university degree. So I studied 3 years university there in Sweden, and I operated as an advisor for 8 years. And one day I just decided, because I saw how the system was working in the back end in Europe, in specifically in Sweden then, and I just felt like this is not the future I want to live in. It might fit many others, but I took the leap to Dubai because I see the the future and the opportunities laying here. So the for the last couple of years, I have been studying the Dubai real estate market, and I have been operated here.
Well, that's an interesting thing to say. You did not like the way things were happening in Europe,
Yeah.
Sweden. Uh, Tell me a bit more about that, because generally when people see, and our audience at the moment is mostly from, see Europe is doing great, right? Everybody wants to go over there, and Sweden for that matter, right? It's a fantastic life. It's everything is so perfect. What was that specifically that you did not like, or you thought this is not how it should be, and that made you come back to Dubai and work here?
Well, it's many factors. We have a lot of people from India there as well in Sweden. Most good workers. I met a lot of Indian clients, and that became friends to the end. But it was a lot of events that made me think differently, and it was some specific events. I can mention a few of them. And one event was a client of mine that had been living in his villa for 40 years. So he bought initially this villa for 1 million Swedish crowns. And 40 years later, it was worth around 6.5 million. And this guy, he became old. So he was around his 70s, and he couldn't manage to take care of the villa anymore. And he wanted to sell it. He wanted to liquidate his villa, get the cash, and buy a small villa in Stockholm, a couple of kilometers from the villa, and take the rest of the money and buy something in Spain. And it
Okay.
became a nightmare for this gentleman. Unfortunately, the bank refused to help him take overlap mortgage to his new apartment. And once he wanted to pay it full cash, they made an investigation on where he got the money from. Even though everything on paper was clear, the bank was involved in all the transactions, and he had been a client to the bank for 40 years as well, and he had saved money there at the bank. But they treated him like a terrorist because he had cash and he didn't take mortgage. That was the only reason that happened. So the design and the system in Sweden and in Europe in general is designed by mortgage. So if you pay things by cash, you are considered a criminal. And
Wow.
the same thing is in the design in the system, that it's technically illegal to make money on property in Sweden.
Hmm.
You can only buy it for personal use. They don't want investors and speculators in the system, in the market. Um, Even though we studied 3 years university, the bank started to put what do you call it, responsibility on the agents. So they took off the AML responsibility from the bank and put it on the agents and put it on the advisors. Even though, so year after year, they give you more and more responsibilities as an agent. You can technically go into prison if you make a mistake. So the standard is good in Sweden, but you don't get rewarded for it as an advisor. And on top of that, you pay a lot of tax. And the climate in Sweden have changed from the year my parents went to Sweden in during the 90s. The criminality have changed. Yeah, so it was a lot of elements that made me take that leap. And to be honest, even though I was born and raised in Sweden with a university degree, I never felt home. You were always treated like an outsider, even though when people got to know you,
Hmm.
you were became friends, and didn't matter where you were from. But initially, people see you as an outsider.
Well, that's quite an interesting thing because Europe once ruled the world, right? And the reason the economy has been doing so bad uh, has got to do with a lot to do with their policies and the frameworks. It's not very easy to do business or do something really. Coming back to UAE, fantastic. Obviously, they are attracting the talent. In fact, last year almost 10,000 millionaires, and that's highest, and it's a 3 year in a row now that all the good people with money coming to UAE, living there, doing business. And one estimator, I was reading it somewhere that in Dubai alone, UAE, there are 10,000 real estate advisors
I think even
already,
I
and the
think
property market is booming.
I think even more. Yeah,
All right,
I
and
would say it's a lot
Indians
more.
and more than 40% of the property owners, investors are Indians, and that's a quite an interesting number. So in the meantime, I just want to make a quick announcement to the people who are watching us. Guys, in the comments, tell us what do you do and where are you watching us from? Like just so that we understand what questions do you have and where you're watching from. And in the meantime, I'm going to go back to Kairos and ask, okay, so if you're talking to an advisor at the moment, right?
Yeah.
somebody who is in the business of wealth management and investment advisory, and I'm that person, and I have investors. It is my duty to give my investors something really, really good, right? So reasons that you would tell me as a wealth and investment advisor that I should be knowing and I should be adding UAE properties on my portfolio, on my services, on my offerings to my investors at the moment. I'm doing capital markets at the moment. I have mutual funds that I offer. I have stocks that I offer, but I don't offer UAE real estate to my investors. Two or three things that I must absolutely consider to add UAE real estate as a service, as an offering to my investors. Why should I do that?
So the question is, why are they deploying capital into real estate? You need to understand those elements, of course, and how their portfolio are looking today, how is their capital, but most importantly, diversification. And something that I believe it's very important is to understand what's going on in this planet. Like what's going on. We have cycles that we can study quite easily, and UAE is positioning itself for the future. It's focusing on the right things, while other countries focusing on who is best in being gay friendly, or other things which are not so important. If you see how Europe are focusing today, is how can we squeeze out as much money as possible from the people. So I would say, in that sense, this region is very interesting to have capital deployed on, and it's very important to be diversified in different jurisdictions.
And I think I lost you somewhere. I'm not able to hear exactly. I don't know.
I think the main thing I said is, it's important to be diversified in different jurisdictions, and UAE has the focus on the right things. Uh, I might lost you here, I guess. Well,
It should be fine. Can you hear me?
yeah, I hear you now. I don't know how much you got.
Guys, I'm sorry. I just lost audio completely.
Yeah, no worries. I hear you.
I can't hear anything. My mic is now muted. Why is that? Uh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
This is so strange and sad and stupid. Okay. Uh, is my voice audible now? Can you hear me?
I hear you.
No, but I'm not able to hear you at all.
Yeah, that's strange.
Okay, I'm audible. मुझे नहीं सुनाई दे रहा फिर. Thanks, Rajat. Okay, fine then. Let us continue. I'm sorry. Uh, I'm not able to hear, but the audience is showing is telling me that they can hear my voice absolutely all right. I can't hear you so well. Anyway, so okay, so this is a question from the
It
point
will
of
be
view
very
of
difficult.
an investor. Uh, Obviously, it's based on their portfolio, their priorities, and everything. But why UAE specifically? And if Dubai takes all the center stage, is Dubai the only option? Or maybe we keep in hearing that, oh, now Dubai is overcrowded now, it's all very expensive, it's not going to be the hub. Do we still have opportunities in Dubai? Question one. And question two
Very
is
few.
anything else than Dubai? UAE is big, right?
Yeah, I mean, Dubai in general, from my perspective, majority of cases is not a good investment, and I see greed in the market from the developers. I see a lot of overpriced off-plan stock, and you need to know what you're doing if you want to take less risks in Dubai. But you have also other good opportunities in other Emirates, as in Abu Dhabi, and I would say Ras Al Khaimah. The prices have already been gone, but you will see a lot of opportunities in Sharjah and Ajman and in other Emirates. Do you hear me? I don't know if the people hear me. But yeah, you will have a lot of opportunities in Abu Dhabi, for example. I see less risk and cap, uh, higher potential for capital appreciation. I have suggested for my clients to invest in Abu Dhabi rather than Dubai, because I would say 99% of the off-plan stock coming out is overpriced.
So I'm going to now put questions on the screen, and let's take these questions in the meantime. And guys, whoever is watching us, you can keep sending us the questions, and we're going to take these questions in between. You don't have to wait for the end of the session to get all the questions answered. Uh, so here's somebody, and
Hmm.
I've displayed this question on the screen. You can read it. I'll read it for you, for all the audience also. It says, hi all, I'm Guinea, into Dubai real estate from last 3 years, doing bit of US real estate as well. Consulting for tech firms. I have a question. Why branding is so crucial for UAE market? All right. Now that's an interesting question. Why branding is crucial for UAE market? Now, in my world, branding is crucial for everything, right? This is the basis of doing any business or any transaction within anyone. But you've been operating in the real estate market in UAE for a very long time. You've operated in the European markets also for the real estate. Uh, what is the answer that you want to give to Guinea?
I would say it's a very interesting question, because if you look at it from a European market, no one asks who is the developer. They only go by the look of the building and the location, the street. Here in UAE, the reputation and the brand is very important. And but I would still say you need to be very careful with the branding, because some people just put a name to the building, doesn't necessarily need to mean anything, and still many of these projects are overpriced. But yeah, branding and reputation is crucial, because people coming here to UAE doesn't know anything and they're very scared of making a mistakes. So they often go by what they have heard from their friends and their relatives and people living here. Yeah, so if you buy a developer with a bad reputation, it will be very challenging to sell it in the city.
I am facing this issue with my mic, and I don't know why I can't hear the discussion. I
Yeah,
think I can hear
it's.
now.
Do you hear me
Ah,
now?
now. Yes, yes. Now it is fine. Okay, good.
Oh,
So I have other people. I'm going to take a couple of questions from them, and then we'll come back to the discussion that we were talking about. So we have chartered accountants here who are working with the companies, advising them on their accounts and everything. And now they're considering to offer, real estate to their clients as well. So a lot of people, uh, and then some of them are just appreciating. Thank you very much, guys. Then there is this question. Somebody is asking a question. What are the mutual fund opportunities in Dubai and Gulf region for a mutual fund distributor and content creator? Uh, well, we're focusing on this discussion at the moment today around real estate and properties market. And I think the simple thing that I would like to add first, and then I would take Carol's opinion on it. As long as you are trying to be a seller of something, you have one product and you find out the buyers for it, in this case, the investors. If you go to somebody and say, hey, this is a mutual fund and buy this, and if the person does not want to buy it or they already have a mutual fund portfolio fixed, please understand, every investor has this product mix in their disposal income or investable capital they have. And if you don't have anything else for that person, then it is a losing proposition already. So it is good to have everything with you. So in your case, a very simple answer would be, if you have mutual funds, you're selling the same investors that you have, you should be having real estate also for the same people. Go talk to them and tell them that, look, I have real estate opportunities available. And if those real estate opportunities are in UAE, the tax arbitrage is really, really good. They will make double the money because of the tax differences. So that is the answer that I think I can give. Carlos, would you like to add something on this one? This is about mutual funds.
I didn't understand the question really, but yeah, I think you cover it fully.
Let it be then for this one then. Now, you've been managing clients for almost a decade or more than a decade now. And if I am a new person who's an advisor or want to become an advisor, a financial or wealth management advisor, at the moment I'm doing job, I'm working for somebody else. I want to start my own practice. And what are the things that you would advise me specifically for the UAE market, what I should be doing, what I should not be doing when I start my wealth advisory practice?
I would make sure you know what the goal is, what kind of risk appetite they have, but I would aim for long-term yield, which probably is the safest bet. And especially if you're looking long-term, things becomes you make the money work for you. And I mean, I have some clients, they are making so much more money in their own business rather than the few digit they see on property. But in it's very important to be diversified, so they cannot be all in one thing, and they need to have a portion in real estate, because that becomes a safety net and a way to compound your money and make it grow on time.
What was the difference that you saw when you were handling European clients versus now you're handling the UAE clients? How do they differ? What are the expectations that both these people have? And last question that I am personally very interested, what do you think it takes from an advisor's perspective to have a continued long-term relationship with an investor, specifically in a UAE real estate market? What do you do so differently?
I don't know which question I should take first, but yeah, I can take the last one. I would say the most important is to actually be yourself and to be able to have a normal conversation about anything. Um, and you need to be a master on asking the right questions. Some questions their own family would never ask, uncomfortable questions they never dare to ask themselves. But I would say the most important is to treat them as your own. So I see my clients' money as my own. So when we go into a strategy or we're planning to deploy something, I do my due diligence and I do my homework as it was my own money or as it was my own family's money. I think you need to have that connection to be able to help them um, as they deserve. Yeah.
We that's an interesting one. People might say that I will burn it, crash because that's what I do with my own money. I'm not very responsible with my own money, so that's how I'm going to be with my clients' money. Well, there's a question, Vedant and Mama. Okay, for someone buying a property in UAE for the first time, what do you think is more important? Location, rental yield, or long-term appreciation, or anything else that you think is important?
I think the most important thing is to understand yourself. Who are you? Why are you doing this? How is your financial looking? You need to understand yourself and what you're planning to do. What are your long-term goal? I think that's the most important because um, uh, you have many different paths to take. You just need to understand what you want and who you are and why you want it now and how is your financial. Are you able to handle it? Um, I think that's the most important part. Then the location and rental yield and long-term appreciation, to choose any of this path is easy because you can then deep dive into it with an expert, and they will help you navigate.
Interesting. Because if your disposal income or the investable income is limited and your risk appetite is limited, you would not go for luxury properties. You can't go because the ticket size is very high and they behave very differently, and the market's ups and downs are very different. Uh, that's a very important thing. Then there are two more questions that somebody is asking here. What about Vision 2030, vision for Dubai, how it will benefit the real estate?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, UAE run this region as a country, and they are very smart in that sense that they do everything that it takes to benefit everyone, the country, the future. So they are doing things that they believe will benefit the country. Um, and I mean, they have proven it that they can.
Okay, just adding to that one. See, if you understand the government's initiatives, like what do they want? They want people from all over the world, good people from all over the world, to come, sit, stay in Dubai, work, and bring their families. So it is not the way generally it is seen. Okay, there's this Burj Khalifa, there's Dubai downtown, there are clubs around it, and there are beaches, and just a big shopping mall. Go have fun, come back. That is what normally people have seen, but Dubai or UAE also is way more than that, right? So there are residential communities, and Dubai South, for example, now they are building a new airport over there. There is a metro corridor coming up, and Dubai South specifically is designed for residences only. So what they want is to people to come and stay, bring their families. So these cities that they're building, there are schools around it, there are amusement parks around it, and there are other facilities around it. So when you choose a place to invest. This is how you should be understanding that if I'm investing in a particular location, is there a larger plan around it? Is there going to be a city around it? Is there going to be community around it? Because all the questions like rental yield, capital appreciation, risk appetites, and everything are connected and based on these multiple factors. And this is where a local agent who's been there, who understands the geography and the plans also, is going to be extremely helpful for an investor. And that is why I keep telling the agents also, or the wealth and investment advisors also, that knowledge is power. Okay, as Carol mentioned, that you're in custody of somebody's money and you need to take that as your own money, be very responsible with it. That's how you build the long-term trust. And in order to do that, unless you do not know what are the right places, what are the strategies, what are the long-term goals, what are the policies that the government is coming up, you would not be able to take a wise decision. And that ultimately comes back and bites your investor, and long term, it bites you also. This is an interesting question, Karos. I have one from one of the listeners, and I'm going to put that on the screen. And I was thinking about it. Since the primary market is overcrowded, is the secondary market and leasing the hidden jackpot for the investors? And before you answer this question, for the ones who are not very familiar with the property real estate market, I would want you to explain these words. What is a primary market? What is a secondary market? And then answer this one.
Yeah, so we have something called off plan here, which is you buy something on paper, which is going to be developed by a developer. And then you have the secondary market, which are something that has been built and you're buying it from an already owner. And sometimes you can even buy off plan on secondary market. It will become an off plan secondary.
Which one is your favorite?
I mean, majority of the deals are on off plan. I would say around 70% of the total amount of transaction is on the off plan segment. And yeah, so we have a small portion which is in the secondary market, but you have a lot of opportunities in the secondary market. Good location, old building, decent size. Um, and many people, what they're doing, they are buying it, they refurb, and they resell. But even that market has become very hard, so it's nothing that I recommend for anyone. They need to know what they're doing.
Mhm. Now the question, since the primary market is overcrowded, is this assumption correct? Is primary market overcrowded?
Yeah, I would say yes. We have a lot of supply coming during now
Hmm.
26 and 2027. And yeah, you have a few launches of new off-plan development every day. I don't know, even minutes per hour.
So is this question that is the secondary market and leasing the hidden jackpot for investors? Is this right?
Uh, I wouldn't say there is a jackpot. Everything depends on the numbers. You need to look at it deeply. But you see today that many developers are selling their off-plan stock much higher than the secondary market.
Hmm. But then these deals that are in secondary market, they are not advertised by the developers, right?
No,
And you said that these are 70% of the total supply,
a total transaction. Yeah.
total transactions. So if I'm an investor or if I'm an advisor and I want to, provide these opportunities to my investors, how do I get to know about these things? If they are not being advertised, how do I know?
The off plan are usually advertised by the developer, and they usually have the relationship with agents in the market. So they usually advertise it to the agent, and the agent then take it further to their investor.
Okay, so the only way for any investor is to find out the agents and ask them that, okay, what are the options and opportunities available? Is that the only way?
Yeah, I mean, you could potentially go to the developer yourself, but you will have bias advice. They will only recommend you their specific development that they have access to,
Mhm.
and that's available. And I would say the good stock, the good project, they usually sell out before even you hear about it.
Why should I be buying the secondary, not the primary? What is the difference for me as an investor? I'm asking now. And please
As
explain me in details with examples, probably.
secondary can start work for you right away if you're planning to rent it out in short term or long term. So you get the annual yield working for you. And if you're going for something that's going to be refurb, you will have at least the capital ready within 1.5 year, hopefully, if you price it right and if you do a good work. Off plan is a more long term. You don't need to deploy all the capital right away. You have during a 4 year period that you deploy the cash into an off plan project. But then you have some developers, they're asking 40% before the handover, some developers asking 80% before the handover. So it's
Hmm.
very different.
And
And
how,
yeah, sorry.
yeah, please continue. No, no, continue.
No, sorry.
And how does the loans work? Like, I'm here in India and I want to buy something, and I understand from you that secondary is going to be better option for me, but it would need an upfront capital from my side. So there are two questions now in my mind. First, how do I arrange the capital? Can I apply for loans? Is that how it works? I'm
You
not
can
an Emirati. I'm not living in UAE.
you can take a mortgage as an expat, and they will base it on your annual income in your home country. And depending on your self-employee or if you're employee, they will check that. But you need to have 40 to 50% of the capital by yourself. So maybe around 50% mortgage is possible as an expat.
And what is the typical average ticket size for such properties? These are apartments we're talking about.
You have all the sizes. I mean, it doesn't depend on the size to take a mortgage. They will check your
Hmm.
income and they will base it on that if you're able to take a mortgage or not.
Hmm. And the second question was that if I'm in India and I want to invest there, you talked about rental yield, renovation, and all these things. I'm not an expert. I can't do that. The agent that I'm working with, does the agent include all of that? Can they package it for me and charge a fees and of the
Yeah,
buying,
yeah.
renovation,
So
renting?
yeah, you have agencies giving you the full package, but I wouldn't say everyone, and I would say the renovation option is very sensitive and nothing you can just give to anyone, and you cannot trust anyone because yeah, it can be a messy as well.
So, what is my checklist? One, two, three, four things that you're looking for in an agent or an agency before I hire them.
Where first of all, they should have the RERA license, which in my opinion is nothing. But yeah, to have a license here, they need to have a RERA um, license, which give them approval to deal with this transaction, real estate transaction. But the test itself is nothing. So I would ask for referrals. I would ask for previous clients, maybe speak to one of them to get a good idea. Show them previous work if they are going for a refurb project. If they have someone that they manage their property, let them have a call to that client, and let them let they should let you speak to them and ask them questions about their experience.
Hmm.
Some
Should I
kind
be
of
negotiating? Should I also be negotiating for the brokerage charges? Is that a wise thing to do? I know that this is what Indians love to do, a percentage here and there.
I would say if you feel that you have done all the work yourself, you can probably negotiate. But if you feel that the agent actually give you some kind of value before, during the process, and after the process, that's worth all the money in the world. I would say
Mm.
good advisors, um, they get charged too little, and I would say unexperienced agent, they get charged too much.
Hmm. There's a question somebody is asking, CA Balaji Singh, what kind of rental yield I can expect in a good off-plan project?
Yeah, off plan is a little bit different, so you need to check the actual price you're paying and compare it to closest comparable areas. In my opinion, the price should be 15% less than ready properties that you're comparing with. In that case, you see some kind of gap, value gap, that can give you the confidence in investing. But yeah, it's a lot of other elements as reputation, location, position. Yeah, you have a lot of elements that you need to check there. But I would say in today's market, you cannot expect any type of yield. And yield is something else. Yield is when you're renting out. But what you I think you're saying is return of investment, and return of investment is very hard to expect the first year, the second year, maybe the third year. When you see the building coming up, people are able to get a sense of what's coming here. That's maybe where you will pick up some interest. Depending on what you bought it for, you will be able to get some kind of capital appreciation. But yeah, I wouldn't expect anything before the third year.
Hmm. And if you were to give some numbers around it, even in the third year, what are a realistic expectation in terms of the returns or yield or ROI, whatever,
Around 21%, 21, 25.
over a period of 3 years?
Yeah. Some
And
cases,
also,
some cases four. Yeah.
mm, and also, what are the, I mean, just for people to understand the tax arbitrage, of course. So if you can explain around that number. So what are the tax benefits, income tax, capital gain tax on real estate, and also the mortgage rates if I have to take a loan from a bank. Obviously, I have to
Yeah.
include all of that.
Yeah. The rates is around 4% as an expat, but yeah, the rates are moving down. What was the other question?
I think you've answered that in the previous question. So I'm going to take this one question and then, guys, we're going to wrap it up now. And if you have any more questions, please comment. We will be taking maybe two more questions on this discussion, and then we'll be wrapping up the entire discussion. So this one, this I've posted on the screen itself. It says, question is also, what according to you, where can I get a greater rental yield? And agency for traditional rental out or Airbnb, considering the unit is in a good area. I don't know if I understand the question correctly. Do you, Carlos?
I think I understand, and I mean, what you should be thinking about is where and what location will still be in demand even in a correction. If we will meet a global correction sooner or later. But what location will still be in demand? So you have downtown, for example, which will always be in demand, and people will always travel there and rent there as an Airbnb. You have Palm Jumeirah. You have MR Beachfront, which is just next or in between Palm Jumeirah and Dubai Marina. You have Dubai Marina, which will always be in demand. And you have prime location as in Dubai Hills, which is a different type of people. People are there more long term. They're renting 2 to 4 weeks. But the occupancy in this kind of area with the right unit is around 90% today on
Hmm.
year.
And just to add on that also, guys, so the beach area, which is downtown and everything else around the beach
Yeah,
area,
JBR is there as well. Yeah.
the area is limited. Okay, so there cannot be more projects there. The land is not available, which basically would mean that supply will always be limited. And you know, when supply is always limited, the prices are going to go up and up and up. So even in the corrections, when the entire market is falling, let's say 5% or 6%, this area will not fall that much. You know, so that's more price resistant, uh, more, less risky, and of course higher returns. But then the downside is all always, since the supply is limited and it's the premium location, the investment, the capital requirement and all that are very high. But then, yes, there are certain things which are available. As Carol's mentioned, about 70% transactions happen in the secondary, and those are the deals that are available with the agents that are operating locally. All right.
In the
So
primary.
yeah, sorry, in the primary. I keep confusing myself between the primary and secondary. So that is one. I had two more questions, and then we're off. One, I wanted to understand everything revolves around Dubai. UAE is big. Other Emirates are doing great. Should I be thinking Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Ajman, Ras Al Khaimah, others in the context of my investment? And if I do, what is the difference in the projects that are coming up over there?
I think I answered this question before when you didn't hear me, but I can take it again. And I would say majority of the off-plan units available in Dubai is overpriced. And if you do not know what you're doing, you will probably burn yourself. So what I have been investigating and do my homework and research regarding the whole UAE, and I would say the best Emirates with the highest potential for capital appreciation and room to grow is Abu Dhabi, um, where you see good numbers, good value gap. They have less supply, and their numbers is outgrowing Dubai right now. So right now you see 7.5% population growth in Abu Dhabi. You see 4.5% in Dubai. You have 200,000 lounges in Dubai versus Abu Dhabi, which is like 22,000. So the supply there is more controlled, and it's a different type of people that moving to Abu Dhabi. I would say it's more mature. You have ADGM. A lot of businesses is opening up and place their park their company in ADGM in Abu Dhabi, which is the financial district of Abu Dhabi. The same thing as the AFC in Dubai. And you have in Abu Dhabi, it's a little bit more nature, like the air is cleaner, the water is cleaner, the streets are calmer. If you look at what the government are doing, they are focusing on the youth. So they are building a city around the youth, the young people, and that's what their focus are. And Abu Dhabi is more calmer, and you see a lot of things happening in Abu Dhabi right now, things that people maybe are missing in Abu Dhabi, and why they like Dubai more today is you have a lot of more activity in Dubai, a lot of things, more things happening, but slowly you will start to see these kind of things in Abu Dhabi, and already some places they have established themselves. Um, and yeah, Abu Dhabi, they open up for expat 2019, so they're still very young. If you compare it to Dubai, I think they open up for expats 2002 or something like that. But yeah, I would say Abu Dhabi is a very, very good, interesting Emirates to have a look at. Ras Al Khaimah has been getting a lot of eyeballs, but I would say majority of the project there are overpriced as well.
Hmm. Where do you put Sharjah and Ajman?
Sharjah and Ajman, you will see a lot of things happening there as well. I haven't deep dive into these two Emirates more than looking at the numbers and the demand. Um, so I haven't focused on it, but I would I'm very sure that you will see a lot of things happening in Sharjah and Ajman as well, where you could find good potential. But I would say the demand will probably go to Abu Dhabi, the majority of the
Super.
demand.
Last question. The best time to buy property in UAE was during the COVID. Prices were all-time low, and you could literally buy the cheap. Since then, it has grown rapidly. Is it already peak? Is there a correction round the corner? And if yes, when and how much?
Yes, we will see a correction definitely. When it will happen, it's impossible to say, but I would say around my guess 2028, 2030. And I am quite sure it will not be only Dubai, it will be a global event happening. We have the 100-year cycle and the last 20-year cycle going in together here around 2028 and 2030. So I wouldn't be surprised if we would see a correction at that time. Uh, but I'm also very sure that Dubai will not be as volatile as it has before, because Dubai has matured in that sense that people actually moving here to live, and you see a lot of more families, and um, the other continents are helping them, helping UAE. They're helping the people that have been thinking of moving to move because they get pushed out.
A lot of countries are doing a great service to the UAE. It's a full, interesting discussion. There
Well, thank you, Sam.
was a lot. Uh, internet issue is something that we created, and we created for one reason and one reason.
I cannot hear you, Sam. Yeah, I lost him. I'm here all by myself. I don't know if I can see the chats. Uh, yeah, I lost you there, Sam.
Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Here I am. So
we're going to wrap this up now. Thank you very much, Karos, and thank you very much for everybody to listen to us. At Indo Gulf Capital Alliance, we're bringing together the right people. We're going to continue doing more sessions like this. If you have more questions, please let us know in the comments and later on in the group also. I thank our guest once again. I'm not able to see Karos on the screen, but anyways, he's been gracious. I learned a lot, and I'm happy that we could talk and do this after a lot of discussion online. Karos, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam.
Okay.